Hello, dear friends. Human rights don't come from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. President John Fisher Kennedy. Opinion piece. Rare earth dispute. Cyberattack. Crucial week. Hidden wealth. Critical minerals. Mineral Cold War. Smooth transition. Demolition begins. China controls supply. Global silver shortage. Surveillance is survival. Rare earths rise in price. Peace in Gaza gives birth. Let's start. This week is crucial because the US government defaulted on September 30th and has until October 17th to raise the money before being excluded from the global financial system and trade with other nations, according to Benjamin Fulford. As proof that this is happening, financial markets began to collapse on Friday because the fiat casino has ended. This came after China announced it would quarantine the economy by completely cutting off the supply of rare earth metals. With these rare earths, the automotive, semiconductor and military industries would shut down, and China controls the supply. Markets are entering a critical week after Friday's dramatic decline, triggered by President Trump's threat to impose massive tariffs on China and tightening rare earth export rules. Global markets found more stable ground on Monday after being battered by the back and forth of the US-China trade war, while gold hit new all-time highs in a sign that uncertainty remains high. Shares of rare earth mining companies rose on Monday after President Trump threatened China with retaliation for its strict export controls on critical minerals. Rare earth stocks soared after a report that the Pentagon will launch a $1 billion buying spree of critical minerals. However, there is some positive sentiment after Trump tried to defuse recent tensions with China. Movements. According to General Flynn, a coordinated cyber and communications attack is underway that would cripple the power grid, banking systems and digital networks. The question is not whether it will happen, but who is orchestrating it. In his view, the takedown has begun, and the media no longer controls the picture. The same system now used to transfer digital chaos will be used to deliver digital sovereignty. It is the beginning of economic freedom. What would likely happen after a black swan blackout event is that cryptocurrencies could crash, exposing dirty money laundering from the tax side and setting the stock market up for a crash. To prevent a market crash and a bank run, they would shut down nuclear power, while the Starlink satellite system and the SpaceX would turn Tesla's quantum-free energy back on. According to Mr. Poole, a classified joint task force has begun seizing power grid servers across the country. The official reason is software maintenance, but internal records indicate that power companies are using unregistered satellite links with private contractors in Japan and Luxembourg. The Space Force has placed 3 new satellites over North America, Europe and the Pacific Rim, with the primary task of overriding legacy media transponders when the master signal is broadcast. A staged confrontation is being prepared not to start an actual war, but to activate the emergency broadcast system and a global financial reset. All previous demonstrations have been successful. With these safety protocols and support equipment in place, a smooth transition with minimal delays or glitches is anticipated. Hidden wealth. According to Edward Snowden, Level 4B is now active. The Iraqi dinar and the Vietnamese dong have entered revaluation protocols. What was ridiculed as a conspiracy is now unfolding as a global redistribution of wealth. The system is reached, and the world is changing. Level 4B belongs to the people, not corporations or global funds. To those who waited despite the ridicule. For once, redistribution flows downward, not upward. Wealth is transferred to those who kept the faith in the midst of darkness. Generation changes begins now. Families will prosper, communities will flourish, and the chains of poverty will be broken. This is not just wealth, it is sovereignty. However, we want that great abundance can bring great deception, as con artists will flooding. Protect your codes, your access, and your blessing. Vigilance is survival. The scope of the Saint Germain Trust is overwhelming. Thomas Lennox discusses the enormous hidden wealth valued in trillions of dollars and its potential role in financing transformative global financial reforms like Gaza. This isn't just about money. It's about the potential for a shift in wealth distribution and management on a global scale. But the transformation isn't limited to financial restructuring. Lennox describes the transition to a quantum financial system. This isn't a digital currency. It's a system backed by tangible assets like gold, silver, platinum, and copper. According to David Lee, the current state of the global financial market is defined by two powerful forces: the transformative potential of artificial intelligence and the unprecedented purchasing power of the retail investor. Gold and silver benefit from the general uncertainty, acting as traditional safe havens. However, he wants that metals remain highly speculative and subject to volatility. Breaking news. World leaders signed the Gaza peace agreement. Gaza will not be rebuilt unless it is demilitarized. Hamas released the 20 Israeli captives alive as part of the agreement. Hamas will continue to temporarily exercise control in the Gaza Strip. Trump declares that there will never be a third world war. Vance says Trump is analyzing all his options regarding the possibility of invoking the Insurrection Act, which would allow the president to deploy forces for law enforcement purposes. President Trump's speech before the Israeli parliament. He described the moment as the end of an era of terror and death and the beginning of an era of faith and peace. Declared the beginning of a new Middle East, praised Muslim nations for their cooperation in achieving peace, and envisioned a golden age. Economy. Milei, before her meeting with Trump, in quotes, "Dollars are going to come out of our ears." The US rescues Argentina. The peso rebounds, the market calms down, and Milei buys time until the elections. European markets close higher amid the trade dispute. Gold hit a record $4,099 due to tensions with China. Gold could reach 6,000 next spring. Trump will release the inflation report to counter the Fed's plan to withhold rate cuts. Silver price hits all-time high as investors rush to safe haven. Indian funds suspend silver investments amid unprecedented global shortage. Amid a historic crisis, silver traders rush to buy bullion in London. IMF chief Kristalina Georgieva warned that global public debt will exceed the size of the global economy within 5 years. A legendary precious metals analyst, Mike Maloney, argues that the real estate and stock markets are on the verge of a collapse even worse than that of 2008. It isn't alarmism, but a call to prepare. Interesting. In 2001, Australian mechanical engineer John Christie and his electrician friend Lowbridge created a device capable of regenerating 24 kilowatts of electricity using zero-point energy. The king of fabrics, linen, has the highest frequency of all fabrics. In the 19th, people slept in linen for one reason. 1900, I mean. Because the linen has the highest frequency of any fabric. It's the only fabric that prevents the spread of bacteria. A growing number of anomalous archaeological discoveries suggest that there may have been pre-Columbian contact between ancient Egypt and the Americas, challenging conventional historical chronology. The British Daily Mail published an article about former NASA scientist Richard Van Duyck, who claimed that trillions of tiny extraterrestrial debris are scattered across Earth, being secretly studied and reverse-engineered by corporations. Defense contractors are blocking the largest disclosure in history, according to Tucker Carlson. What kind of technology are they so afraid we'll discover, and what kind of black market project is all that money disappearing into? Do they possess off-world technology? According to Paul Kudenek, many very smart people spend their lives devising theories about why our society is the way it is today, but none of their analysis will ever get close to the truth if they ignore the forbidden idea that our society is under occupation by a hostile external power. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.